Teshuvah is the process of asking God for another chance. It is said that a baby struggling to liberate himself from the womb reaches a crisis at the very moment that he, not his mother, has to do the breathing. To encourage the lungs to make this radical adjustment, the doctor sometimes gives the baby a little tap. This tap is the child's chance to live. Yom Kippur is very much for us like the sharp tap of a physician, presenting each of us with a renewed chance of life. Kol Nidre offers us the opportunity to look back on our choices and with no penalty to take a second chance. Would we not want a second chance with our children, with our parents, with our dear friends and colleagues? Perhaps we have failed to support them emotionally, to provide them with values, to understand their needs. But there were also times when we provided too much assistance, stifling their growth. Wouldn't we want to finger paint more and point fingers less? To do less correcting and more connecting? To take our eyes off our watches and watch with our eyes? To stop playing serious and to seriously play? To do more hugging and less tugging? To be firm less and to affirm much more? An elderly carpenter was ready to retire. He told his employer of his plans to leave. He wanted to lead a more leisurely life with his family and get out of house building. The contractor was sorry to see one of his best workers go and asked if he could build just one more house, a personal favor. The carpenter said yes, but in time it was easy to see his heart was not in his work. He resorted to shoddy workmanship. He used inferior materials. And when the carpenter finished his work, the builder came to inspect the home. The contractor handed him the key and he said, "This is your house, my gift to you." What a shock. If he had known he was building his own house, he would have done it differently. Now he had to live in the house he built so poorly. But so it is with us. We build our lives in a distracted way, reacting rather than acting, willing to put up with less than the best. Today we think of ourselves as that very carpenter. This is the only life we will ever build. Our lives tomorrow will be a result of the choices that we make today. The second prescription for happiness, prayer, is really the art of looking inward, of learning to live now, in the present. 4 men once stood watching God spin the globe. The first approached and asked, "How do you do that?" The second asked, "Why are you turning the world?" The third one said, "Give it to me." And the fourth silently contemplated God's actions for a long time. He closed his eyes and he prayed. Then he went out to make a globe of his own. If there is one truth in life, it is this: if we cannot make the old world run our way, we can at least add to it. And in spite of the way the world revolves, we will in fact be accomplishing something. We will be adding to the sense of worthiness in our own lives, and we will be contributing to the happiness of other people. It has been aptly said that only one person in 1,000 knows the trick of really living in the present. Most of us spend 59 minutes an hour living in the past, with regret for lost joys, shame for things we've done badly, or in a future that we either long for or we dread. There is only one world, the world that is pressing against you now, this very minute. There is only 1 minute during which we are alive, and the only way to live is by accepting each and every minute as an unrepeatable miracle. There was a brilliant attorney whose father lived 500 miles away. He was approaching 80 and failing in health. He would complain to his daughter, "I don't get to see you very often. How about a visit?" She replied, "But there are so many demands on my time. I have court appearances, I have meetings, and I'm just too busy to leave the city." One day he called her and whispered quietly, "I've been worrying for a long time. When I die, will you attend my funeral?" She quickly responded, "I can't believe you're asking me that question. Of course I'll attend your funeral." And then he said simply, "Forget the funeral. I need you now." Our parents are getting older. Our children are leaving home. We haven't taken that trip to Israel we've always promised. There are people to console, tzedakah to be given, books we haven't read. So these high holy days come every year to urge us, embrace this moment. Yes, time does fly, but we are the navigators, and more important than counting time is making time count. The final clue to happiness, found in our machzor, is to give of yourself, beyond yourself, to others. Being generous of spirit and deed is known to increase joy. The truth is, all of us, we are now all in the me generation, regardless of our age. For most of us, the quest for happiness centers on our drive for unabated self-satisfaction. It's me first, it's me last, and it's me always. Sociologists refer to this as the culture of narcissism, and it hasn't served us very well. It leads to corruption in business, an overly litigious society, failed relationships. We have sought out happiness by our search to preserve my space, and in so doing, we detach ourselves from our families, our community, and the relationships which have the potential to add so much to our lives. Happiness is a result of finding a worthy purpose beyond the service of the self, beyond our own success. In our tradition, our efforts on behalf of the community, be it relief work in the Gulf, caring for the ill, helping children in need, supporting our brothers and sisters in Israel, we don't do any of this for credit. We do it because we genuinely take pride in bettering the lives of other people. Maybe it is supporting an aging parent or attending to the needs of a newborn, teaching a new skill, or volunteering at our own Zabin Couple Center. Try it in this new year. Whenever faced with the dilemma, why should I do it? I'm so busy. Give of yourself anyway. Not only will you help another, but your altruism will help your own sense of self-worth. There's a special twinkle I see in the eyes of those who know the joy of doing a good deed, a twinkle which comes from the depths of the soul. How can we share ourselves in the face of so many problems that we see in the world? We can begin exactly where we are, by being part of this personal experience of others. A friendly gesture, a kind word, a good deed, a generous gift. The nobility in showing that we are fighting for a just cause, the gracious forgiveness of a mistake, the heart overruling the head in an act of kindness. Yes, the chance to be useful, to rise each morning with something to do, something to believe in, something to work for. The realization that somebody somewhere depends upon us, thus sparing us the despair that we live our lives alone. Happiness comes in giving life meaning, and the only way to give life meaning is to live a meaningful life. Yom Kippur is dedicated to that proposition, that humans can learn to face challenges, can arrive at a course of living that will provide us with a sense of purpose and a sense of meaning and perspective. There's a tradition that we all participated in but a few moments ago when we recited the Kol Nidre prayer 3 times. First, softly, tearfully, as one who is approaching the palace of a king walks in measured, hesitating steps, searching for courage. The second time we share the prayer, it is repeated more hopefully, as one who is standing outside of the gates, somebody who has admitted that he is now more confident, taking his strides with a bounce. And finally, the Kol Nidre prayer is loud, it is triumphant, as one who has been admitted into the palace, someone who is promised an audience with the great king. The petition will in fact be heard. It may not be acted upon, but it will be heard. Like Tevye, Our march through life is long and arduous, and there are many obstacles to achieving our happiness. But we must never stop aiming high, never stop striving, never stop making the effort to make the most of our lives. Justice Holmes was once given a party to celebrate his 90th birthday, and at the gathering, Chief Justice Hughes paid tribute to him. He toasted him by declaring, "The life of Justice Holmes is the most beautiful, the rarest thing in the world. It is a complete life." Holmes responded, "No. Life seems to me to be more like a Japanese picture, which our imagination does not allow to end with the margin. We aim at the infinite, and when our arrows fall to the earth, they fall in flames." Yes, our arrows do miss the mark. They fall to the ground in flames, but to be Jewish, it is to aim for the stars nonetheless. Moses took the children to Israel for 40 years, and he never entered that land. Columbus discovered a new world and spent his final years in jail. Lincoln, Martin Luther King Jr., the Kennedy brothers, they never saw their efforts come to fruition. And we can say of these heroes that they were always joyful. And while we can't say that, what we can say is that all of them were happiest when they were struggling to reach their lofty goals to which they aspired. When they gave of themselves beyond what was required, when they focused on each day, each moment, and when they struggled to make the right choices, despite their popularity, that is when they found their most fulfilling times. So the central question on this holiest night of the year, it is the same question that Tevye asked. Will we be happy in the coming year? Nothing ordinary can be achieved without striving for the extraordinary. Nothing will come within our grasp unless we reach out after the unreachable. Nothing will be attained unless we extend ourselves to pursue the unattainable. There are no good times and bad times. There are only happy times and sad times. But everything God does has the possibility of good. It all depends on how we receive it. Yom Kippur comes every year to answer our question, reminding us that how our story will be written is well within our hands. Amen.